KriegerFiles.com. You're tuned to the Global Star Radio Network. Thanks for listening.
Making America smart again. It's the Krieger Files with Dave Krieger. Are you tired of your boss stealing from your paycheck to send to a government that's writing checks its body can't cash? It's the government's worst nightmare. Dave Krieger.
Oh, yeah. Here we are on a Hump Day edition, 5 minutes after the hour. Glad you could join us. We are streaming live video on the KriegerFiles.com for those of you who want to wait for the buffer stream. May not work exactly as well as we'd like it to on your phones, but on your internet computer, if you've got good internet, you can definitely watch the show. Otherwise, you're listening to it if you just click that button on the Krieger Files. And here's the thing about the Krieger Files. It does at 1 p.m. Central Time, which is 2 p.m. Eastern. It loads the program that we have for today, and it plays 24/7 in case you missed it. You can tell your friends to dial it up. We're also on Rumble and YouTube. Haven't been deleted yet. Thank God for small favors. And, of course, if you want to talk to Sir Todd before getting in here, the number is 844-769-2944. Phone lines are open today. You may have been shocked to go to the old channel at libertynewsradio.com to find I'm not there anymore. We parted ways amicably. These guys are great. I love what they're doing. They're getting the word out. We're all fighting for freedom and liberty here on this show, but I'm on my own channel now. We have our own server. Thank you to Todd at Global Star Radio Network. We are beaming from 22,500 miles up in the atmosphere to places all over the world. So this is a good thing for those of you that want to listen to the show. You can. And you can tell your friends about it if they've got any kind of a satellite dish, and you can dial into Global Star Channel 3. And for those of you that have the receivers from Blue Springs, Missouri, you're talking about Rick Satellite USA, that's channel number 1. For those of you that want to listen in, some of you only have that channel available to you, but you can also go to the website. And, of course, then the government will know what you're watching and listening to if you're on the internet, because that's why Al Gore created it, right? Not. No, but see, they are using the internet to spy on people. There's another little interesting FCC note. I do have an FCC attorney in Washington named Don Martin. I don't know. Hi, Don. How you doing? Don puts out a newsletter, and I found a tidbit in there this morning that I thought would be rather interesting for all of you out there who are embracing AI. Here's a problem with AI, folks. AI is being shoved down our throat as a matter of convenience for the lazy people out there that want to use AI, and you're going to get penalized for this because they think AI is everything. And all these high-tech people that are, their noses are brown for a reason, because they're shoving them up Trump's behind. And the reason they're doing it is because they want the tech industry and AI to flourish. Well, the problem with AI is, one, it's not original. Two, you need huge data centers to store all of this stuff, because a lot of people are using AI, especially the woke Gen Z and other people in college. They're using AI. The real estate industry is embracing AI. The legal industry is embracing AI. You would think the legal industry, and I'm talking about attorneys out there, you think they'd put the brakes on, the timeout. You think they do that because that one attorney in New York got hit with a $5,000 sanction because he filed a case citing 12 different cases within his pleading, and all the cases turned out to be false. They were phony cases. AI just made it up. He got fined $5,000 because the law clerks couldn't find the cases. Because this is what the law clerks do. They research your cases to make sure they're legitimate and that you're quoting the right case to apply to the right circumstance in your pleading. This is what attorneys are supposed to do. But in this case, this attorney who works for a major law firm in New York, he goes and uses AI. Nope. And see, now the real estate industry, they want to use AI for marketing and coming up with brainstorms and maybe even creating pictures and photos and all sorts of other stuff and writing their descriptions because they're too lazy. And what happens if they don't review everything that AIO writes? You know, old MacDonald had a farm. If somebody's going to come up with a meme and put AIO, you watch, it'll happen just because I coined it. AI is a bad thing for a lot of different reasons. One, because it makes people lazy and they don't want to think. It's like amusement. They use AI for people who want to date. Now they have dating apps that are all AI generated, and some AI hot model will come on and she'll talk you out of your money. And you know the thing about AI that my buddy Don Martin, the attorney in the DC area, told me about? The United States Copyright Office has released in part 2 of its series of reports entitled Copyright and Artificial Intelligence, concluding and affirming that a work created solely by artificial intelligence is not eligible for copyright registration or protection under U.S. law. I just thought you should know, in case you're out there trying to create stuff and then you want to sue somebody because you claim that your work was stolen. And when they find out, see, a lot of these social media accounts now, they want you to divulge whether or not this program content that you are delivering, or memes or whatever the case may be, was created by AI. You know, it's like Trump and John DeVolta out there doing Staying Alive and doing the Trump dance and all that stuff. You know, this show is not produced by AI for any reason at all. And it won't be. It won't ever be. Because I've told you before, for those of you out there listening to the Krieger Files, like the other shows, when you do this and you know that the content is genuine, I've told you before that pretty soon AI will merge into the market and be accepted by so many people like the Antichrist, like Franklin Graham, and if people are starting to figure out that he may not be all that. Nope. Sorry, Franklin. I hate to bash you here on this show, but my God, there's just a little bit of hesitancy here. A little bit of hesitancy. There's hesitancy all over the place, but see, you won't know what to believe if AI is involved. Because if AI creates fake news and it gets put out there, and fake news says, we've just been attacked, and all it's doing is creating a simulation, but here you've got a war of the worlds going on. Yeah, and a little Orson Welles broadcast generated by AI, AIO, and then everybody's freaking out thinking that we're under missile attack because somebody let loose and just let AI do its own thing, because this is what these data centers that they're trying to construct with their own power plants could possibly do. And they literally could launch an attack on China or Russia, simulated. But how are the Russians to know if we've got something that smart out there generating something where either one of our nuclear adversaries think that they're being attacked? And AI did all this. And then all of a sudden, here comes the missiles. And they could be coming from submarine-based launch ballistic missiles, SLBMs. Oh, yeah. I mean, they're parked, in international waters off our coast. I mean, literally, we would be taken by surprise. They could turn us into the Stone Age or the Dark Ages, whichever you prefer. The Stone Age, if they actually launch a nuke and they put you into oblivion and turn your area into a nuclear parking lot, which is, by the way, what President Trump has threatened Iran with, for those of you who don't know, if you hadn't heard. Trump has come out and said that if Iran has me assassinated, he has laid down strict orders for the Department of Defense and other agencies to turn Iran into a nuclear parking lot. There will not be one living, breathing soul left, and nobody will be able to occupy Iran for decades because of the nuclear fallout. Wow. Talk about deterrent. Ignorance is strength, right? Oh, my goodness. Isn't that amazing how this works? Let's talk about what Trump has said that's got everybody freaking out. He now has said that the U.S. is going to take over the Gaza Strip and rebuild it. Now, pay attention now. Don't freak out. Everybody over there is the Arab states are going crazy because he said that. He had a meeting with Bibi. Yeah, Benjamin Netanyahu. He had a meeting with Yehu, and now all of a sudden, the U.S. wants to take over the Gaza Strip because why? It's a seaport. It's a seaside. And they want to take it. I mean, can you imagine this? Trump Tower, Trump golf course, Trump mansion in the Gaza Strip, And he's going to have Palestinians for servants, of course. See, the Palestinians actually, they may, they're trying to push them out so they can completely rebuild. They want the Palestinians go resettle somewhere else in the meantime, and we're going to come in and we're going to clear out all the debris from all the bombings and everything else that's happened, and we're going to make a Trump golf course. Yeah, can you imagine the sand traps? I mean, they're all natural. They're large too, probably. I mean, you'll be playing on sand unless they can grow grass there. I mean, it'll be another Pebble Beach, Trump by the sea. You just never know. And they're going to be responsible. This is the United States now. They're going to spend our tax dollars. At least that's Trump's vision. They're going to dismantle because they own it. They're going to claim it. They're going to come in and claim they own Gaza. And we'll be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site. Imagine that. Oh, wow. Minesweepers, We're going to level the site. We're going to get rid of all the destroyed buildings. We're going to build resorts. I mean, it could turn into the other Riviera. I mean, it could be gambling casinos by the sea. We'll build huge ports out there where the big cruise liners can come in and land. And we'll turn Gaza into the land of plenty. Biblically speaking, do you really think that's going to happen without the Gog-Magog retaliation? I mean, they're going to build U.S. military air bases in Gaza, too, I guarantee you. There's no stone left unturned here, folks. Just imagine all of these things. And see, they want the future plans because Trump, of course, has to open up and talk to the media because they feed his ego. And, I know he's the current president, and stop, I'm not a Trump hater, okay? He who hateth his brother is a murderer. Now, Trump is being influenced by a lot of people to try to do the right thing. But just like Operation Warp Speed, I haven't heard him walk back on it. I haven't heard him say, I'm sorry, but they fooled me. I haven't heard him say it. I would believe that he would be more of a human that could be trusted if he would just admit he was duped. Anything? Nothing? So Trump is floating the idea of turning Gaza into a resort community. They love the idea, of course. But the king of Jordan and the president of Egypt probably will, give us their blessing so we can do this because we need to live in harmony and peace. And, of course, the leaders of Egypt and Jordan previously expressed opposition to Trump's proposal for the two countries to take in more Palestinian refugees in order to clean out Gaza. See, what they want to do is they want to get rid of any remnants of Hamas, recover all of the sex trafficked kids that are still there, get rid of, free all the refugees that were taken last October 7th. I mean, they literally want to clean house. They want all the Palestinians to move and migrate and just hang 10 while the Trump administration spends our tax dollars, and it's going to cost billions of dollars to rebuild Gaza. I mean, do you know how big that strip of land is? We are talking about miles and miles of shoreline that they want to take and convert. I mean, you're going to have to build ports because you're going to have to get material and everything imported there. I mean, it's going to be insane. So why we have to go over there and rebuild it is because it's the only way that we're going to get peace, and that maybe we can employ some Palestinians. We'll let them come back in and we'll vet them to make sure that they're okay, that they don't hate us. But this is almost as bad as USAID. Some new news just came out about USAID. As a matter of fact, they gave George Soros's Tides Foundation $27 million. Now, if you don't know anything about the Tides Foundation, this is the entity that funded Black Lives Matter and the far-left Democrat local district attorneys in all the major blue state cities who refused to prosecute serious crimes. And it makes me wonder whether any of that money flowed into the purchase of the Odyssey media stations, the 232 stations that were in bankruptcy. I mean, this is a great way to buy a radio station. is in bankruptcy, but then to let George Soros come in. And as you know, the Democratic administration, well, they pulled that off. That's unfortunate. You know, when you do stuff like this, it is a sad state of affair. And of course, you give all these millions. The other thing that, is coming out, is being vetted, is billions of this stuff, 40 billion, right? The CIA is using that as their go-to grab bag to overthrow governments. Is that what we're all about? We're all about overthrowing governments? That's what this country's all about? Because we want to convert them into what? Democracies? Folks, these people do not understand what democracies are, and they're not stupid by any means. But, when they see the wealth that's going on over here, and we want to try to transfer that over there, that is not what's been happening. We've been trying to overthrow governments and start wars. It's no wonder that so many CIA agents are now taking Trump's buyout offer. We've got over 20,000 people right now that have bought into this thing. And as we get closer to tomorrow, which is the cutoff date, they have until February 6th to accept. And 2 million people were offered this. They were offered until February 6th to accept a payout until the end of September. And they were going to just leave the government. We're going to give you a big severance package, and you get paid your regular, all the benefits and everything and the perks and whatnot. You get that up until September 30. And by then you should be able to find a job. And I don't really think that you're going to be able to apply for unemployment benefits. I mean, I think that's part of the contract because you're already getting a severance package. And if you're going to be that lazy, I mean, these RTO people out there, they're the ones taking it. They don't want to go back into work. Return to office. That's RTO. Okay. When I use that term, you know what it means. And they don't want to return to work. They like sitting there in their skivvies or nothing, doing work at their desk. They don't have to get up. They don't have to take a shower. They don't have to wash their hair. They don't have to do anything. They don't have to shave. They can just sit there. They can have, do whatever, do the wild thing, and nobody know any different. Because see, the computer, they open their screen and make it look like they're doing something. Meanwhile, the whole time they're just, drinking a cup of coffee. Oh, there's my Squirrel Radio logo. SQRradio.com. You can hear our show at 5 p.m. Central Time if you go there. It's just another way we aggregate the program so more people can listen. And we have music playing. That's courtesy of WKDW FM radio in Northport, Florida. I don't have to tell you that the Senate has confirmed Pam Bondi. I remember, like I said, we offered her the opportunity to look at all of the garbage that was going on with the foreclosures and the mess will be uncovered in Osceola County, Florida, and her office wanted nothing to do with it. So what does that tell you? They've already shut down the CFPB, so all these U.S. consumers have lost the ability to complain because now they're just, disintegrating all these departments. And the education department, I mean, they're closing a USAID. I mean, all of these departments are closed, right? In the legal system, very seldom do homeowners and people who are debtors, alleged debtors, do they ever win a case? Well, we have something coming out of the 11th Circuit I want to tell you about. Cheryl Glover and Kathy Booz, that's her name, just spelled like the liquor. They're plaintiffs against a lawsuit they filed against Ocwen Loan Servicing, LLC, which is a mortgage loan service. They're a debt collector, folks. And they basically argued that the Ocwen Loan Servicing, this violated the FDCPA by charging optional fees for expedited mortgage payments online or by phone. Yeah. Hello, I'm going to be late on my mortgage payment unless I can make it online or by phone, right? All right, I just want to set the stage for you so you know. This is an actual legitimate case that the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals in Atlanta just ruled in favor of Cheryl Glover and Kathy Booz and against Ocwen. And so here's the thing. Ocwen offered borrowers the option to make expedited payments for an additional fee while mailed payments sent by mail, incurred no fee. Glover and Booz paid these fees multiple times, but their mortgage agreements didn't mention them. The Southern District of Florida held Ocwen was acting as a debt collector when it charged the fees. The fees were incidental to the principal obligation and that they were not permitted by law nor authorized by the debt agreements. I just want you to know this for the purpose. If you're calling up making payments online and they're charging you a fee, it better be in the contract. The district court awarded actual damages to Glover and Booz, and Ocwen appealed, of course, to the 11th Circuit. The court held Ocwen as a debt collector violated the FDCPA by charging an amount not expressly authorized by the agreement creating the debt or permitted by law. The court emphasized that the FDCPA prohibits debt collectors from collecting any amount unless it's expressly authorized by the debt agreement or permitted by law. The court found that convenience fees were not permitted by law, as neither the Truth in Lending Act, which is TILA, or the Electronic Funds Transfer Act, which is the EFTA, substantively authorized such fees. The court affirmed the district court judgments in favor of Glover and Booz. So guess what, folks? They won. And I'll tell you what, if you're freaked out by this whole thing, I have a solution for you right here in my hot little hand. This is the FDCPA, Debt Collection and Foreclosures. This book right here, I have a limited supply of. If you want to, you go to Clouded Titles. That's cloudedtitles.com. And you can buy this book. And as soon as you order it, I will ship it to you. So this right here, it's in large print type. And it contains all of my sample documents in the back of the book. All the sample pleadings, everything. It talks about case law. Talks about Spokio versus Robbins, talks about all of these things about proving actual damages. Now, see, Glover and Booz paid money. You see, they got ripped off. Ocwen ripped them off. They were a debt collector and they charged fees they weren't allowed to charge. See what I mean? They weren't expressly in the contract nor permitted by law. So Ocwen is a debt collector. And that's where the FDCPA comes in. See, if you paid money by these fees, then you've been damaged because it's not expressly written in the contract. And see, Ocwen was absorbed by PHH Mortgage, and it continues to operate out of its West Palm Beach office. And I would suspect that they're still faking robo-signed documents. Yeah, those assignments, those pesky assignments that got David J. Stern in trouble, the attorney in Florida. Yeah, Ocwen was doing a lot of it right there on Worthington Avenue. Yeah, they're still there. But anyway, this book is available on cloudedtitles.com if you want to get a copy of it. The FDCPA, and it talks all about various ways how consumers are fighting back. I mean, there's actually a guy, a black guy. It doesn't matter. I mean, I'm not race baiting here. There is a black guy. This guy's smart. I'm giving him credit. All right, so stop that with the race. This guy got smart. Now, if he could do it, you could do it. Anybody could do this. He got smart about the FDCPA. And when bill collectors would call him, he would turn on his recorder and bait them. And he would make them say things that were violations of law. And then he would turn around and sue them in federal court and win. And he would win thousands of dollars. And he was making all this part-time money suing debt collectors. It's in this book, folks. That's what I mean. You know, hey, you need an extra sideline? Need a side hustle? Get a copy of the book and read it and get familiar with the law. Because if you don't know your rights, you don't have any. And that includes federal law. That's one of the reasons why I'm here on the show, because we discuss all things legal, consumer, and financial. Anything that is related to money, what's in your wallet? See, none of that matters. Because, see, that's all fiat money. Federal Reserve notes are just what they are. They're notes. They're promises to pay. And, see, the bigger problem, Google, here's another thing. Use DuckDuckGo instead of Google, or use Bravo. Use another search engine other than Google. Their parent Alphabet reported earnings yesterday, and the sales for the last quarter fell short of Wall Street's expectations. And, of course, what happened? They want to spend $75 billion pumping up AI, including the data centers that support the cloud and AI. I'm not on the cloud, folks. for all good reasons. Google and the government can tap into the cloud and look at anything that you saved up there. And of course, Google their stock dropped 9% in after-hours trading because of it, folks. We will be back with more discussion. If you want to get a phone call in there, now's the time to do it. 844-769-2944. We will see you after these short words. Stay right there. Dave Krieger here. Are you having issues with your credit? With interest rates as high as they are now, this would be a great time to invest in yourself by getting a copy of the Credit Restoration Primer. So when mortgage home interest rates finally do come down, you'll have already taken the necessary steps to get your credit score where it needs to be so you can move forward in life. Thousands of consumers have benefited from the Credit Restoration Primer, and you can too. Go to cloudedtitles.com today.
With inflation constantly chewing away at the value of paper money, perhaps it's time for Americans to bite back. Ownership of gold and silver coins provides great counterbalance to weaker paper money value. U.S. Coin Capital provides physical gold and silver coins. You can reach us directly at 1-800-878-2646, uscoincapital.com.
Need a document notarized even when one or more of the signers is out of state? What a faster way to close your real estate deals by getting your documents professionally notarized online at professionalnotaryonline.com. For more information and to book an appointment, visit professionalnotaryonline.com or call Aaron at 941-400-8282. A trusted Krieger Files partner. Good in all 50 states. That's 941-400-8282.
It's time to send another message to Washington. It's the Krieger Files.
Some of you actually have to flush twice. I got to throw some levity in the show, folks. You know that, because D.C. needs an enema. And, I mean, everybody flushing their toilet at once isn't going to do any good. But, I mean, you get the idea. 1-800-EAT, you know what? You see that on the back of some of these obnoxious truck drivers out there. Like my driving, 1-800-EAT, you know what? Yeah, those arrogant truck drivers. Now, hey, we need them out there, folks. Love all you truck drivers out there. You're doing our country a big favor. This is the thing. It's going to take people a long time to get over this solar stuff. I mean, it's killing birds. Birds are flying into solar panels, believe it or not. Did you know? Really, they're flying into solar panels and they're dying. That's not helping the ecosystem, folks. And speaking of birds, how's your breakfast these days? How's your cluck? I'm not clucking around here. How's your breakfast these days? How much are you paying for an egg? Waffle House is adding 50 cents per egg surcharge because it costs a damn much to buy a dozen eggs. Remember, the average price of eggs last December was $4.15. Now it's $7.08. Oh, I beg to differ. I've seen the prices into the $8 and $9 range. Yeah, wholesale $7.08. 7 times the price 2 years ago. Maybe it's time to get your own flock. Maybe it's time to tell the government, flock you. Maybe it's time. Maybe you should get your own flock. Do you realize that just 10 birds, 10 hens can produce 1,500 eggs a year? Or, excuse me, what am I talking, a year? They can produce a dozen eggs roughly a week at least. At least 1,500 eggs a year they can produce. Let's get the facts straight here. This outbreak, how many have we killed? Roughly 104 million egg-laying birds have been killed already over the past 2 years. 29 million culled just since last October. Culling means off of his head, the jury said. Yeah. This outbreak, H5N1, I mean, see, if you keep your birds in a confined area You really think that they're going to get bird flu? I mean, if you take good care of them, I mean, that's why they have, these little antibiotics that you can put in their water. It's just like a powder. You put it in there and they drink it and they stay healthy. Now, yeah, you're giving the birds antibiotic, but that's only if they look like they're sick. You don't normally just put antibiotics in their water. Otherwise, those antibiotics transfer into the eggs you're eating, and you don't want that. I've raised flocks before, but the thing is, I'll tell you what, nothing beats farm fresh eggs. And if you have the ability to do that, you should. But Waffle House, I mean, Department of Agriculture says, there's no other end in sight. We see no end in sight. We're going to have another 20% jump in prices this year. And of course, Waffle House, if you go there and you decide you want to order eggs, the incredible edible egg, it's going to cost you way more money because they're going to continue to jack up the surcharge to cover the cost because, Waffle House serves a lot of eggs and this is how they're going to make money. So perhaps, and you wonder why people aren't going out to eat all the time and you wonder why the cost of food is going up. See, we still haven't gotten a handle on prices yet because we seem to have this problem and Bill Gates is worried about it because the more we start digging into USAID, we find out because Trump and Musk are going in and they're digging deep. They're now exposing all this waste and corruption as Bill Gates is warning of a new pandemic. Yeah, he's awarded $30 million to USAID, and where's he going to send it now? Now, he's on The View, of course. Oh, we're going to have another pandemic in the next 25 years. How does he know that? Maybe he's part of the problem. Maybe he's part of the ones that are creating this virus. Maybe he's supplied money under this, USAID gave money to EcoHealth Alliance, which then turned around and sent it over to Wuhan. Maybe Bill Gates' money was part of that. Now, if he gave money, come on, follow the money trail. Follow the money trail, and you will find out exactly what's going on. So if you are thinking about buying a Nissan or a Honda car, rice burner, whatever you want to call them, doesn't matter. Nissan is going to be calling off their merger talks with Honda. That's a $60 billion plus tie-up that would have created the world's third largest automaker. And a lot of you, I know, we got to get some protectionism here in America. It is important. It's one of the reasons for the tariffs, because we don't want a lot of foreign products coming in here unless people are willing to pay for it. The problem with tariffs, as everybody knows, is what does it do to prices in the United States on those products? And see, then Trump used the tariffs to do what? Scare Canada and Mexico into doing something. Because they certainly don't want to lose those automakers who have production plants in Mexico and the maquiladora. Oh, they don't want to lose those automakers because they get all that cheap laborers, got money coming into Mexico. They don't want to lose them. So they're like, well, we're going to have to impose 25% tariffs on, it's called tit for tat. They don't want that. So, for people that are late to this whole thing, and I'm talking about people that don't understand the legal and the financial consequence of tariffs, understand that that is how this country existed long ago. When Congress and the Constitution said that the federal government, we're not talking about the United States, small u, capital S. The United States, this is the federal government. United States now, Inc., as of 1871. They get to charge tariffs, and this is how they were living. But see, when Congress found out that they could create a raw deal signed off on by, Roosevelt, oy vey, he created the raw deal, and everybody bought into it. All you got to do is get a Social Security number because we think you're stupid and you don't know how to spend and invest your money. This is why we have people like Mark J. Kwan on the show. You been to YouTube yet to watch that? The Perfect Portfolio? Go on YouTube and type that in, The Perfect Portfolio, and all his videos will come up. We just had him on the show, day one of our video, and you need to go watch this stuff. I mean, we want to educate you. That's why we're here. We do as much investigating as possible, and we have books. We got Clouded Titles. We got the Quiet Title War Manual, got the FDCPA book here for those of you, and we even have the Credit Restoration Primer. This is a book that'll help you clean up your credit because, see, we're still brainwashed by the system thinking that, you know, having great credit, having an 800 or 900 credit score is all that. You know, but there's some people that are retired at fixed income and they're going, nah, I don't see the logic in this. But I mean, Mark J. Kwan just told you how you can invest a couple $100 and grow it so that you can pay off your high interest credit cards and all this other good stuff. I mean, come on, really? Is it that difficult to get? I mean, it's one of the reasons why. I mean, if he's going to show you something and work with you and teach you the things you know so you can be rich like those billionaires in D.C. like Gay Scott Bessent. Yeah, your Secretary of the Treasury. What do you? I want my face on a dollar bill. Yeah, that you watch. That might be coming. That's very unbecoming, Scott. Yep, because he's a hedge fund manager. I mean, what do you think about securitization? Speaking of which, I just posted part 1 on my Substack page. Part 1 of many. And we already have people liking it. Thank you so much. If you're out there and you're listening or watching the show and you go to the Substack page and you read the scenario, I talk about all having things to do with unauthorized practice of law, about all these people online and how they were out there. Oh, I got the silver bullet. I got the magic bullet. I can stop your foreclosure dead in its tracks and we can sue and we can do all this and that and just pay me a couple of $1,000s. No. I mean, I do paralegal work, but I don't take money from people that I can't help. I've actually, people have PayPal'd me thousands of dollars and I hit the refund button and I call them and I tell them, look, why did you send me this money? I'm honest. I'm trying to tell people, look, if you need the money to pay rent somewhere or to get yourself into a situation and you find, my first house was a deed in lieu of foreclosure. Because there are people out there that are going through tough times. I mean, I just went online and was surfing the internet. I do this all the time. I go to Realtor, I go to Zillow, I go to Redfin, I go to other places. I look for foreclosures. I mean, there are foreclosures that you can buy cheap. Don't cost a lot of money. And you can fix them up and make them yours. And they're in low tax states. So, you know, I mean, I was just looking at all the high tax states like New Jersey and Connecticut and New York and, yeah, Texas. Yeah, high tax, high property tax state. Believe it or not, everybody thinks it's wonderful, but as long as they're going to continue to pay property taxes, I mean, we're talking you can only deduct $7,000 up to $7,000 a year on your taxes. And if your taxes are going above that $7,000 mark, perhaps it's time to reorient your thinking and move to another location. And so now we're just getting word that the media is freaking out, and we're talking about the left-wing mainstream media here. They're freaking out because Trump is pulling all of these people's security clearances so they can't tap into deep state. Well, what'd you expect? We got all these people out there that are saying, we're not going to do what Trump tells us. We're going to continue with this. And see, what you want to do is you want to not only pull the security clearances, you want to pull the security details, because that's costing U.S. taxpayers a lot of money to protect who? People who don't want to respect the wishes of we the people. We the people mandated that Trump go in and clean house, and that's exactly what he's doing, and the left-wing media can't stand it. And neither can people like Chucky. Yep, Chucky, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, the CIA right now. Wall Street Journal has just come out and said that every single CIA employee has been given an option to resign with a buyout package worth about 8 months worth of pay and benefits. John Ratcliffe, of course, the new CIA director, is leading the charge, signaling the agency is going to become a little leaner. Lean, mean, fighting machine. Yeah. Remember that? Yeah, stripes. Yeah. Focused on real threats. So if you want to make a difference, you either line up behind Trump or get out. But if we find out that you are not lined up behind Trump and you're continuing to carry on this sneaky thing behind his back, we're going to fire you. You're going to be removed, and we're going to pull your security clearance, and they might even do a Valerie Plame. I mean, who knows? If you're no longer a CIA agent, then, hey, why can't they? See, Valerie Plame, you remember that? She was a CIA agent. She was an operative, undercover op, and they exposed her. Yeah, this was Scooter Libby. Remember that? They actually made a movie out of it. Yeah, remember that? Sean Penn, that lovely Aussie from Down Under, the actress. Yeah. So it really did happen. Valerie Plame actually was outed, and it put her and all of her contacts in danger. But if you're no longer a CIA agent, what's to stop the government from outing you? Would they do something so cruel? Well, I'll tell you what. John Ratcliffe, if you're listening right now, you find any of these CIA agents out there that are doing what Trump said not to do, and they're not lining up with Trump, they're not lining up with your new mandates, why not expose them? Pull their security clearance, pull their security detail, and expose them right there. Oh, as soon as one gets outed, the whole pack will all of a sudden just toe the line. Or they'll get out because they don't want to be hunted down. So as you know, Tulsi and RFK Jr. are out of the Senate committee hearings and headed for the main floor, like Pam Bondi. And we don't know when they're going to get. See, this is the thing about Trump. All of these nominees, like Kash Patel is still in committees. You know, he said some things way back when they first started considering him for position as FBI director that freaked Congress out, and they don't want to be hunted down. And Tulsi, of course, had her own set of problems while she was testifying before Senate committees on what's wrong with Washington. The swamp's most embedded creatures hate her because of her views on Edward Snowden. Now, what did Snowden do? He was a once inconspicuous NSA contractor who rose to international fame for blowing the whistle on the government's domestic spying campaigns. It's still going on, folks. They're watching. What do you think they got these AI, these data centers they're building? And these fusion centers they have up and running? I mean, your neighbors could be running them for all you know. And as long as you're connected to the internet, you're connected to your smartphone, and you're connected to all these other devices, like your car, which knows when you have sex in the back seat, apparently, because they send all this data to a collection center. And, you know, you go surfing for drugs. You said, well, I got a headache today. What does that mean? Or I'm pissing blood. I have hematuria. That's the term for it, right? The medical term is hematuria. I'm pissing blood. What does that mean? What could that be? And all of a sudden, all these ads pop up for all these drugs that Big Pharma has that you need to take to get rid of your hematuria. Or you need to go to the doctor and trust your doctor, and he's going to put you on drugs, and he's going to want to zap you and give you chemo and poison you. Maybe he'll give you remdesivir. Remdesivir, yeah. But you see, Tulsi has a problem. And it's not the fact that she's the first Hindu congresswoman, right, from Hawaii. And now she's, you know, it's the way she views Snowden that's got everybody in a bunch. Their panties are in a bunch. And the deep state hates Snowden because Snowden pulled their pants down and exposed them for what they are: liars, cheats, and treasoners. And they need to hang from a rope. Did you hear that, Chucky? Yep, Chucky is freaking out. I mean, it's just like what's happening in the FBI right now. Did you know that over 5,000 FBI agents worked on the January 6th investigations? Did you know? Why do you think that the acting director is over there vetting, and Emil Bove, you know, Trump's attorney in New York? Why do you think now they're going in there and vetting all these FBI agents to find out how many of them actually were involved in J6, in doing things for the J6 committee to hang Trump out to dry, and they're getting rid of him. They're putting him on administrative leave while the investigation continues. You see, Kash Patel's not even director yet. But see, they can put acting directors in there all they want. and investigate all of this garbage. And Kash Patel's not even been cleared from the Senate committees. They're deliberately doing this because Kash scares the hell out of them. It's just the way it is. Going to the phone lines right now, 844-769-2944. Sherry in Kansas, welcome to the show.
Hey, Dave. Hey, I heard that Bill Kristol was a big recipient from AID through the circuitous route that all this money was going through, and that he purports to be a conservative, but this one fund, and I can't remember what it was, but it began with an A, and three of the big names that contribute to this fund were Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, and who was the other one? There was one other big Democrat, but had you heard that?
Well, they could have. It wasn't Bill Ackman, was it?
No.
Because, I mean, a lot of these people, like I said, you saw what happened when Trump was getting into office, and all of a sudden you have all the tech giants, the head of Google and Zuckerberg and everybody else went down there and got a brown nose, sticking it up Trump's rear, trying to schmooze him, and they all offered to give him $1 million to his inauguration balls. Just like, boy,
no, this is a long time deal.
Yeah, of course.
This is really going back in the books, and it was Hal Turner who was reporting on this, and he said that people that he talked to said this looks like structuring.
Yeah,
you know, the way they were
I see
moving
that.
this money around.
I see that. And that's one of the reasons why Trump and Musk are going after USAID and shutting it down. And they put armed guards outside of the headquarters in D.C. And see, what I didn't realize was how big USAID is. There's like over 10,000 people worldwide working at an agency, funneling money to and fro out of our tax coffers. And then we're being, of course, held liable for all that money they're throwing away.
He said that they were getting $500 billion a year from the Treasury.
Yeah, 40 billion. Yeah, 40 billion's the figures that the media is reporting.
Maybe
but I agree.
50 billion.
I don't. You're probably
That's still
right.
A lot of money.
It is. It's a lot of
But
money,
there was-
and then they're trying to stick us with a tab.
Well, that's where the money came, I bet, to start that thing in Ukraine in 2014. And probably in the one that they did earlier in 2005 or something.
Yep. And then they fund all the labs.
That's what they're doing with this money. They probably did the same thing in Romania. And what was that other country over there that they didn't like the way the election came out? But anyway, I just thought I'd throw that in.
I appreciate that. I did read up about Bill Kristol, too, and I appreciate the input, Sherry. Thanks. Dustin in Michigan, you're on. Good morning, sir. Glad you're chiming in.
Yeah. Hey, recent news cycle watching has put me in memory of being too close to a big screen TV in a bar back in the 70s when somebody was playing Pong.
There you go.
It's so distracting from one to the other, and I mean, there's so many things happening all at once. It's kind of hilarious to see the response from some of the media and Hollywood and stuff like that. What do you think?
Well, my lovely wife is always dialing in the morning to see lefties losing it. I don't know if you ever watched that, but it's really funny. Jamie Lee Curtis and half of these Hollywood stars out there that are woke are all standing up there. And Cynthia Nixon, of course, she's now let her gayness out and gets in front of crowds and talks about all this trans ideology and whatnot. I mean, this is part of the problem. You know that the left is going to be fighting back. Dustin, just out of curiosity, acting U.S. Attorney Ed Martin. See, this is really great now that Pam Bondi is in the driver's seat. They've opened up an investigation into Chuck Schumer, into the comments that he made in 2020 about wreaking havoc on Brett Kavanaugh and Neil Gorsuch. What do you think of that?
Well, if I was in that position, I'd probably have people coming after me if I made that kind of statement. So why not him? I mean, seriously.
Makes sense.
It's just like Ilhan Omar giving advice to illegal aliens how to avoid ICE. I suppose you could probably get away with that if you were on the floor of Congress making some kind of speech because of their immunity. But as soon as you leave that building, go back to Minnesota, yeah, those are credible threats.
Yeah, they are. Well, I mean, see, and Chucky just doesn't know when to shut his mouth. That's the problem. And we have a lot of congressmen out there that are haters. It's crazy. Dustin, I appreciate your call. Chance in West Virginia, welcome to the show, sir.
Hello, Dave Meister. Dave Meister, that was the Arabella Fund.
Thank you. If I knew somebody'd come up with that.
By Soros, Gates, and Mark Zuckerberg. And they're connected with the USAID, the Arabella Fund.
So you like the idea that they've shut down USAID, because I can tell you right now that this is no good. And if they're using this to overthrow governments and do all the things that we shouldn't be doing right now, I mean, here's 40 or 50, whatever the amount of money they're spending into the billions, sending this overseas as a CIA's own slush fund. This has to stop.
Well, you know what, Dave? As we speak right now, they're protesting in every capital city in every state for USAID. So keep your eyes open. What's going to happen with that?
We will. I'll be watching. You know we will.
Yeah, that's the Arabella Fund. Check into it, Dave Meister.
I will. I appreciate it, Chance. Thank you. Man, we're just about ready to wrap up here. By the way, for those of you in Virginia that did not know what was going on, parents, you're supposed to be able to trust America's schools to keep your kids safe. And a district spending months allowing a serial sex offender to watch young girls change in a high school locker room. Oh, yeah, it's what happened. Now, this is rather ironic. His name, who police recently arrested, he's a registered sex offender. His name is Richard Cox, C-O-X. Not the same as wanker. After several people reported a naked man watching women in the changing room of the Arlington Aquatic Center, which shares facilities with Washington Liberty High School in Arlington, Virginia. Oh, that's a little disconcerting. I wonder what he was doing. Arlington Public School District policy allowed Cox to be in that room. This is deranged. What are we doing here? Folks, I think it's time that some of you ran for school board there, don't you think? We need to stop this nonsense, and the only way that you're going to do this is by running. By the way, Trump's HUD nominee has cleared the Senate to become the 12th cabinet nominee to be confirmed, just to let you know. Breaking news. We'll see you tomorrow. Joel Skousen joins us here on the Krieger File.
Many Americans are growing increasingly concerned about the rapidly growing U.S. government deficits, recognizing the additional printing of paper money devalues U.S. currency. To compensate, American gold and silver coins will provide wealth protection. U.S. Coin Capital provides physical gold and silver coins delivered directly to our clients. You can reach us at 1-800-878-2646, uscoincapital.com.
Need a document notarized even when one or more of the signers is out of state? What a faster way to close your real estate deals by getting your documents professionally notarized online at professionalnotaryonline.com. For more information and to book an appointment, visit professionalnotaryonline.com or call Aaron at 941-400-8282. A trusted Krieger Files partner. Good in all 50 states. That's 941-400-8282. Dave Krieger here. Are you having issues with your credit? With interest rates as high as they are now, this would be a great time to invest in yourself by getting a copy of the Credit Restoration Primer. So when mortgage home interest rates finally do come down, you'll have already taken the necessary steps to get your credit score where it needs to be so you can move forward in life. Thousands of consumers have benefited from the Credit Restoration Primer, and you can too. Go to cloudedtitles.com today.
Broadcasting to the U.S. and around the world by way of clear digital audio, 22,500 miles above the planet. This is the Global Star Radio Network.